Okay, hope you all had a wonderful spring break. Let's start with some warm up there. I know everyone is kind of exhausted after 2 days of school already. But, please go to page 366. Let's do a E harmonic minor scale. So not too hard because the fingerings are very similar to the C major scale. Okay, some key points to remember. First, remember the minor scale always share the same key signature with the relative major scale. All right, so we have one sharp here, the F sharp, and since it's a harmonic minor scale, make sure you raise the seventh, which the D becomes D sharp. All right, as you can see on the visualizer there, the D becomes D sharp. All right, so before we go through it, make sure you know what are those block keys. And then when we go through it, think about which fingers are on those block keys. So we use our regular fingering, start with the 5 and the 1, and the finger 3 always play together, just like in the C major scale. All right, so let's just go through it slowly with the two hands together. Let's try with the metronome. So one click each eighth note. 1, 2, 3, go. Is it too fast? Good. A sharp, F sharp, okay, nice. So you probably already noticed that when you play F sharp, your left hand finger 2 and the left hand finger 4 and the right hand finger 2 are on the first block key F sharp. And then when you go through it, the D sharp is played by left hand finger 2, right hand finger 4. So it's always between 2 and 4, these two fingers for this specific minor scale. All right, so keep your fingers 3 played together on G and also on C. All right, let's do that one more time with a slower tempo probably. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Three together, and then keep your thumb underneath the palm so it's always ready for the turn. Make sure you loose your arms, but still sit straight. Nice, that's the scale. And then now let's keep going to the arpeggio. So arpeggio also using the regular fingering pattern. Start with 5 and 1, and notice every note is a white key, so we don't have block key for this arpeggio. First, we want to form a triad, the E minor triad. All right, so we have E, G, and the B, these three keys. And then we need to consider what's the fingering pattern for left hand. Would you like to use 5-4 or 5-3? So since we only have one white key between the first two notes, so we only have F between E and G for left hand, we will choose use 5-4 instead of 5-3, right? Because we don't need to stretch that much. And then if we play the D major arpeggio for left hand, we might need to consider use 5-3s instead of 5-4 for fingering because we have two white keys between the first two notes. So let's run through that slowly together. Shouldn't be too hard for you guys. Okay, try it. 2, 3, go. Make sure left hand always turn to 4. Alright, so I think I talked to some of you guys about reduce the accent for arpeggio. Instead of thinking in 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and think about this in 4 instead of 3. So you will prevent of playing the accent whenever you have the thumb pressed down. Okay, so think about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's sound more like one phrase and more smooth. Let's do that one more time with sinking in 4. 1, go. 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It will especially benefit if you play in the fast tempo, so you wouldn't hear that bump when you play the arpeggio. Okay, so that's for the E minor scale and the arpeggio. So just take like half second, play through it, and let me know if you have any questions. Mhm. For left hand or left hand? Left hand. Yeah, because you start with a 5 4 2 1, so you want to keep that pattern. Yeah, so for descending it might be awkward because your thumb need to reach the E, right? So it's very difficult. What I suggest you to do is as soon as you finish the thumb playing the higher E, you put the thumb underneath the palm, so it's ready for the turn. Yeah, then you don't have to do the big gesture when you need to turn it. So you can try it very slow to see if it works. Any questions? No? Okay, let's go to page 274. We're gonna do a short harmonization here. 274, number 4, on the bottom of the page. You can also take a look of the big screen, it's also here. Alright, so we are used to doing the harmonization in 3 voices of the piano texture, piano style, which is we have the left hand play the bass note and the right hand play the another 2 voices. And now we are going to try to harmonize in 4 voices style, but still with the piano texture that left hand play 1 voice, the right hand play 3 voices. So as you can see here, the first measure is an example for you. Alright, so the left hand still play whatever is on the chord symbol. For example, the first measure, A minor, your left hand play A. And then for the second chord, it's a B minor 7 flat 5 with a D in the bass. So that means it's an inversion for the B minor chord. So the bass note should be D instead of a B. Okay, we always play what is right after the slash symbol. Alright, and then for the next chord of next measure, the bass note should go to E because it's A minor with E in the bass. Alright, so the process is similar to the 3 voice texture. What you want to do is get familiar with the melody first. So play through the melody. And then as you can see that these 2 lines are exactly the same. So probably just need to work on for the first 4 measures. And then when you actually play this A bars, what can you do to make it more interesting when you repeat it instead of just play in the same way? So what you can do, you can think about the dynamic or different articulation, okay? Or even just add a few more notes in your harmonization, whichever way you think is more interesting for your audience. All right. And then after you get more familiar with the melody, and then we want to work on the bass note first. So that means the left hand, according to the chord symbol, you feel free to write down the left hand note, left hand pitch there. And then the final step is to add the inner 2 voices. And then remember for the seventh chord, we always want to omit the fifth. All right, so keep the root, third and seventh, and then we don't need the fifth unless you want to just add more color, more rich color in it. Okay, so let's just do it together with the right hand playing the melody very slow. Let's turn on the metronome here. So just the top soprano line. Okay, you can play with me together with the metronome. 1, 2, 3. All right, so you see it's very tricky in measure 3. The rhythm, let's turn it off. Okay, the rhythm is different. Instead of all 4 quarter note, now we have like eighth note with a dotted quarter note rhythm there. So be aware of that. You can do it in a slower tempo if you don't feel comfortable with this rhythm. So you can count in subdivision 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. That's one way to do it. Alright, so the second line is the same, so we don't have to repeat this again. And then let's work on the left hand. Just play with the metronome together. So form the left hand according to the chord symbol there, alright? 1, 2, 3, go. And then go to D, and then we're going to E. Alright, and then going to the E dominant 7, E, and then finish on the minor 1, A. Alright, so just very simple bass line there. And then we want to add the inner voice. And now I'm going to ask you guys to do it with me together. So I will turn guys all on here. Wow, I hear some very cool sound over there. Okay, so the first measure already give to you the example. Alright, so the fingering, I would suggest you to use left hand 5, right hand 1, 3, 5. Okay, and then for the second chord, left hand use 2 on D, and then right hand 1, 3, 4, and then back to the A minor chord, but left hand use finger 1 on E, and the right hand 1, 3, 5. Alright, so Garrett, how about the next chord over there? The E7 chord, E dominant 7 chord. Could you name the note? D, E, G sharp, and then with E in the bass. Very good. And then, let's see. Zach, how about the next chord? Very nice. So what fingering would you use there? 1, 2, 5. And the left hand use probably finger 5 for A. Alright, so that's it. Since it's our first time to play in the 4 texture, so we want to keep it simple and easy for you guys. Look on the bottom, there's an extra instruction for you. So in minor key, the 2-7 is a half diminished 7 chord. So take a look of the first measure, second half of the beat. Okay, you have this B minor 7 with flat 5. So the F has been flatted from the minor 7 chord to a half diminished 7 chord. So in jazz harmony, these chords are symbolized as either 2 with a circle, as you can see on your book, with a circle and a slash 7, or letter name M minor 7 with flat 5 in the parentheses. Okay, so notice the use of a B minor 7 flat 5 in this piece here. Start from the A minor 7 chord and move smoothly to B minor 7 flat 5. And with a different inversion, okay, with a D in the bass. Alright, so just play this around and then we're gonna do some performance. Okay, you ready for this? Let's turn you guys. Okay, now everyone's on live. Great. Okay, so the order is each person one measure. Unless you are playing the second to last measure, then you just finish the last two measures because the last measure is only one chord. Okay, we start with Garrett, and then Zach, and then Drew, and Alaya, and Charles, and then we probably need to come back to Garrett again, and then Zach and then Drew. I think Drew will finish the last two measures. Okay, let's try it. Oh, let's do with accompaniment. I find a nice one. Okay, whenever you guys is ready. Okay, Garrett. Yeah. Yes, it's very tricky that. Let's stop it for a second. It's very tricky for the rhythm of the third measure. It's a okay. Be careful with that. It's eighth note. All right. Okay, let's do it again. And I didn't notice that. Oops. I didn't notice that for the first line that last measure you only have one chord as well. So how about let's start with Alaya this time. Alaya, Charles, second measure. So Alaya first measure, Charles second measure, and then back to Garrett the third and the fourth measure. Okay, so the last two measure of the first line, and then Zach the next line, first measure, and then Drew the second measure, and then Alaya you finish up the last two measures there. Okay, clear. All right, let's turn on everyone's keyboard and the accompaniment. Whenever you're ready. Okay, one second. Yes, I think Alaya, you need to be careful with the weak beat. So 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's do one more time from Alaya and then Charles. Alaya, last two measures. Nice. Good job. Yeah, some improvisation there. Yeah. Very nice instrument choice. I didn't even hear the transition between Gary and Zach. You guys use the exactly same instrument there. Very nice. Good job. All right. Now let's do some solo. Please turn your page to 292. Okay, we will start with very baroque prelude by Henry Purcell. All right, so here, I just browsed through this piece, and then you can see there are a lot of similar patterns. So you use this as a chance of practicing the sight reading. So observe everything before you start, the key signature, time signature, and even the clefs. Because sometimes you never know. Sometimes the composer like to put both hands in treble clef, and then would that be the same case here? Right, so just take a look over all the details, and then a lot of a similar pattern for this piece. So since it's pattern repeated, you might see some sequential pattern there. All right, and then what you want to do first is to practice the hand separately and then follow the instruction there. So it suggests you to practice the right hand by block the chord. So what we want to do first is to just block the right hand chord every measure just one chord. So let's do that slowly and see if we can analyze some of the chord there. Okay, so start with the first measure. So we have the G major chord, all right, and then go to the next chord. What is this chord here? Second measure. Garrett. Second measure. E minor. And then Zach, the next one. Good. And then Drew. Yeah, A minor. And then continue to the next, actually 4, 5, 6, measure 6. Oh, sorry, Alaya. Yeah, E minor chord. And then Charles, next measure. Good. And then back to Garrett. The last line, second measure. The last line is still the same. Oh, still the same piece. It surprised me that you will still be able to answer the question. 292. Yep. Yep. 292, the last line there. The second measure of the last line. Measure 8. G major chord, and how? Yes. How about the next chord? Yeah, or C major chord 5 to 6. Either way is fine. And then Zach, next measure. D major chord. So it feels like a cadential 6/4. And then we finish on G chord. So what you want to do first is to just block those chords by right hand. So you hear this parallel process, especially the first line there. Move from G major to E minor and to C major. Okay, so now let's just all try together by blocking those chords. It's very slow tempo. Let's turn on the metronome. Okay. 1, go. 1, 2, 3. Next measure. 2, 3. Next measure. Good. 2, 3. And the next measure. And here, be careful, you need to move to a higher register. And the A minor chord. 2, 3. And even higher register, E minor chord. And the next chord, measure 7, 2, 3, and then measure 8. And then we have another chord. And then we finish on the G major chord. Yeah, so by blocking the chord, not even you get to know the chords even better, and then also you know the placement of each pattern. Sometimes they jump to the higher register, sometimes the lower register. So your hands should be now more familiar with the placement on the keyboard for the right hand. All right, so what you want to do next is to block the left hand. In the same way. So sometimes there might be 2 chords in one measure. So let's start with the first measure. So let's just all do it together in the slow tempo. Okay, so first chord, a G major chord. 2, 3, 4. And the next chord, D major chord. And the second measure. 3, go. And the next chord. The G major chord with B in the bass. And then move smoothly to a C major chord and to a G major chord. And then measure 4, A minor chord. So measure 4 has 2 A minor chord, and then let's move to a higher register. another A minor chord, and then lower register, E minor, and then next chord, major 7. We have the A minor chord with C in the bass, and then D major chord, and then G major chord with B in the bass. Okay. Then we have cadential 6/4, and then finish on G. All right. So make sure when you start this piece, do some warm up like this, so you are more familiar with the hand position, the placement of each patterns. And then it suggests you to use staccato practice those eighth notes. So when you put two hands together, instead of just going to the legato, you can start with the staccato practice first. So it will help your hand to keep it very loose without any tension, right? So some practice like this, and then the final stage would be put everything together just like what is on the score. So it's very like sequence. And here, be careful, you need to move to a higher register. Even higher. Ritardando. Okay, so very nice little piece there. All right, so take about like 5 minutes to just like kind of practice through this by using different methods that we just talked about, and then we're gonna do some performance there. Okay, let's try it together. 2, 3, 4, 6. All right. So what we're gonna do is each one just take one measure. Okay, so one measure for each, and then notice that you always start on the weak beat, right? So for example, from the first measure to the second measure start on the weak beat, the pickup beat of F sharp. All right, so just take a look of the measure that you need to play with. Start with Garrett, and then Zachary, and then Drew, and then the second line, Alaya, Charles, and then back to Garrett, and then Zachary started last line, and then Drew second measure, and then Alaya third measure, and Charles the last measure. Do you need to write it down? Yeah, just make sure you keep listening what others are doing there, so you don't stop in between. Is everyone clear with the order? Do you want me to say that one more time? Okay, so start with the measure 1. It's okay, Garrett, measure 1. All right, Garrett, measure 1. All right, so you might, if you want to mark it, feel free to do. Garrett, measure 1, and then measure 2, Zach, measure 3, Drew, and then measure 4, Alaya, Charles, measure 5, and then back to Garrett, which is the last measure of second line, right? Measure 6, and then measure 7, Zach, and then Drew, measure 8, and then Alaya, measure 9, and then the last measure is played by Charles. Okay? Everyone good now? All right. I'm gonna enjoy your performance. Try to get back to the right path. Yeah, you can start from the pickup to measure 8. Okay, yeah, let's do the last line one more time. Who's playing measure 7? Zach playing measure 7, right? Don't forget the pickup note. Okay. Okay, so the first note is wrong. It's A. Yeah. Oh, yes. Just make it longer and you're more confirmed with the cadence there. Yes, yes. Good job, guys. All right. So after this, we're going to do something very different. Let's turn page to 298, ragtime. Yes, something fun there. Okay, first, don't be too excited. It's not too fast, okay? Make sure you don't play on the fire. Not too fast. And then look at the eighth note. When you have two eighth notes, you don't have to swing them. Just play like exactly what is on the score. All right, so for ragtime, the rhythm is very important. As you can see, there are a lot of tied notes, so it's kind of a complicated. It more sounds like syncopation. For example, the first measure. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So the second and the third beat kind of connected together by the tied note. Sounds like a syncopation there. So what I wanted you guys to do first is close your keyboard. So just close the lid of keyboard. Yes. Great. All right, I wanted to tap the rhythm by both hands. So the right hand still tap the right hand rhythm and the left hand tap the left hand rhythm. It seems very complicated, but if you look at the second line, it's actually left hand all very steady quarter note beat. So you just need to make sure the right hand is coming in very in time. Okay, so while you tapping it, I'm going to play through this piece so you get a sense of how it sounds like. Alright, so we're gonna do a very slow tempo. Let's see. Dum. A little bit faster than this. Bum, 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 bum. 2, 3, 4. How's that? Good? Alright, let's do this. Okay, make sure you be very gentle to the keyboard, alright? Very light. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Nice. Make sure everyone's doing this. Major 10. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Alright. So now you get a sense of the rhythm there. So left hand just steady, very steady quarter note. So no need to worry about the complex of the rhythm there. Alright, so now let's take a look of this first 3 lines there. So beside the very complicated rhythm, we also have the element of a chromatic scale that we practice at the beginning of this chapter. So take a look of the measure 3. Right hand, you have a chromatic scale descending, start from C all the way to G. So basically, you use all your 5 fingers there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So just get used to the position of the chromatic scale. Let's all try this slowly, just for this 5 notes. 1, go. So measure 3, right hand, one more time. Okay, and then notice the same measure, last beat of left hand, you have a D flat and a B natural, and then look for the fingering, 5 and 1. So pinky is on the block key, and then goes to the next chord, it's a C and a B flat. So they kind of like switch. The first time the pinky is on the block key, and then for the next chord, the thumb is on the block key. Okay? Alright, so it's kind of like crossed. Alright, so not too complicated, but you still want to practice with hand separately first, and then do the 2 hands together. And make sure you have the correct articulation. The left hand need to play staccato. Alright, so talking about staccato, let's all do it. Start from measure 5, just the first 4 lines. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, just the left hand. When you play staccato, it feels like you plug the string, alright? So some of you guitar majors should be very familiar with that. All right, let's try this. Measure 5, 6, and 7, 8. Just left hand alone. 1, 2, 3, go. And then notice the fingering. 3, 1, 5, 1, and then 2. So it's not as easy as you thought, because a lot of time your thumb is actually on the block key, B flat. Alright, and then sometimes it's not always begin with a 2, 1, and sometimes it's 3, 1, and then sometimes the 2, 1, but on different notes other than the E and the B flat. Alright, so just take a moment to practice the first 3 lines, and then we will do performances. Okay, since we don't get that much time, let's just go ahead to try out this. I forgot to mention one thing. In measure 12, the third line, last measure, you have this chord E, A, and F. It's very surprised because it's sound not consonant. You would expect a F major chord, but actually it's an E in the bass. So be careful with that. And then it resolved to a very nice 13 chords there, which you will learn in next level of class. So I think that's why the composer actually put an accent there. So let's all just try it. Start with Garrett the first measure, Zach the second measure, Drew third measure, Alaya fourth measure, and the second line, the fifth measure, Charles, and then back to Garrett, and then Zach, Drew, and then measure 9, Alaya, Charles, and then Garrett, and then Zach, you're gonna finish the last measure there with very nice 13 chords. Make sure you put the accents on it. Okay, whenever you guys are ready. Some improvise. Measure 8. Yeah, it's okay. And then the nice 13. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, so Garrett's the spoiler there. Already spoiled a very nice 13 chords. Yeah. Good job, guys. Okay. Homework will be just practice this ragtime and the E minor scale and the arpeggio there. Okay, so see you guys on Thursday. Good job.